You think you are alone. You have locked the doors, turned off the lights, and finally settled into the one place you are supposed to feel safe. But what if the shadows are not empty? What if the very devices meant to protect you are actually silent witnesses to your most private moments? Tonight, we are looking at the reality of hidden surveillance through 3 true accounts that prove the most terrifying thing in the room might be the one thing you never noticed. The first story begins with a young woman named Sarah. She was 22, a recent college graduate doing odd jobs to make ends meet in her small town. When a regular client recommended her to a man named Craig for a week-long dog-sitting gig, it seemed like an easy win. Craig was in his late 40s, tall, wearing wire-rim glasses, and seemingly professional. He had a golden retriever named Max, who needed someone to stay overnight because of his anxiety. The house was tucked back in a wooded area, a bit dated with floral curtains and beige carpets, but Sarah felt comfortable enough. By the 3rd night, that comfort evaporated. Sarah was sitting on the guest bed when her eyes landed on a digital alarm clock on the dresser. It felt out of place. It was sleek, black plastic with a bright blue LED display, while everything else in the room felt like it was from the early 2000s. She leaned in, and the light from the lamp hit the front of the device just right. There it was, a small, perfectly round black pinhole situated right above the numbers. It was pointed directly at the bed. The realization hit her like a physical weight. She picked it up and felt a faint vibration, a tiny internal fan cooling a processor. That was when Max, who had been resting quietly, suddenly lifted his head and began to whine. From deep inside the house, Sarah heard the unmistakable sound of a door closing. Craig was not supposed to be back for 4 more days. She froze, holding the camera clock in her hands as slow footsteps began to move across the hallway carpet. She barely managed to lock the bedroom door before the footsteps stopped right outside. Craig's voice came through the wood. He sounded calm, yet slightly out of breath. He told her he had forgotten something and asked her to open the door. When she stayed silent, his story changed. He claimed the device was just a motion sensor for the dog. But his calm did not last. When Sarah refused to come out, the knocking turned into heavy pounding. He began to scream, his voice sharp and angry, threatening to call the police and claim she had broken in. Sarah fumbled with the window latch, her hands shaking so violently she could barely move the metal. She eventually scrambled out with Max following her and ran down the gravel driveway until she reached the road. Even after she escaped, the nightmare lingered. Because she didn't take the clock with her, her lawyer said there was no physical proof. Craig faced no charges. For weeks, Sarah couldn't look at a smoke detector or a picture frame without wondering if a lens was staring back. Our second account takes us to a rural getaway in late September. Joe and his girlfriend, Emma, booked an Airbnb in a small town to visit family. The listing showed a cozy 2-story house with a wraparound porch and storybook charm. When they arrived, the host, Alan, was already waiting on the porch. He was in his late 50s, with thin gray hair, and a smile that Joe noticed didn't quite reach his eyes. It felt practiced, like a performance. Alan walked them through the house, but stopped at a door near the kitchen. It was secured with a heavy padlock. He told them, with a sudden firmness in his voice, that the basement was his private storage and was strictly off limits. The first night was quiet until after midnight.